What's up, dudes? Max here. Welcome back to the Dragon Ball FighterZ breakdown as we're taking a look at all the characters that are currently in Dragon Ball FighterZ leading up into the Gamescom build, which is 11 total. Looking back, we're going to be checking out one of the main roster members today, which is Vegeta, but once again, a huge shout out to the Bandai Namco crew who gave me access to the game at their offices. I paid for my own flight to get you guys this footage because I know a lot of you had requested this stuff and really wanted to see the other characters and not just the new ones, so let's take a look at the Prince of Saiyans. So in my opinion, Vegeta and Goku are probably going to be the characters you're going to see the most often in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And for that reason, in terms of their gameplay, their specials, their supers, there's a lot of utility in a lot of the stuff they have, but they are very simple and accessible characters. They're easily the two of the most simple characters that are in the roster right now. But let's go over what Vegeta does have, because while he is very similar to Goku, some stuff does change quite a bit, so we'll go over that right now. Vegeta's regular attacks are a bit shorter than Goku's, but he makes up for it in slightly faster speed. It's not incredibly faster, but whenever I do play as Vegeta, I notice that some stuff does seem to come out a bit quicker. And I will mention that his regular Ki Blast attack can be multi-pressed for quite a few hits. Some characters can be kind of hard to initialize their Ki Blast attack while doing a combo, and then following up with a special move or another attack or something of that nature, but Vegeta seems to be able to fit these things in very well, and it kind of balances out some combo structure if the opponent is too low to the ground, if you're too high, stuff like that. If you throw in a whole bunch of Ki Blasts during the aerial combo or whatever combo structure, it just adds in a bit more damage and makes things look pretty damn cool because you're blowing shit up while comboing. But in terms of his special attacks, we're looking to a situation very similar to Goku, where he doesn't have a ton of specials that he really can use, but the few that he does have a lot of utility, so let's take a look at his initial Ki Blast Fireball, which isn't a Kamehameha. He's one of the few that actually don't have a Kamehameha, but it functions almost identical to what many other characters have. Instead, Vegeta just rapid fires a whole bunch of Ki Blasts like right across the screen, and these tiny fireballs do a little bit more damage than the regular ones. One of the more fun things to do with Vegeta is to repeatedly press the Ki Fire button like over and over and over again to get a bunch of regular Ki Blasts, and then do Fireball Forward Ki Blast, and you get a ridiculous amount. It just fills the screen with a huge amount of projectiles, and you kind of just have to deal with it for a little bit. Vegeta does also have a command normal in the form of a dive kick. I believe this was executed with down as well as medium while in the air, and he dive kicks immediately to the ground. However, I was noticing that if this attack lands, it kind of seems like it bounces the opponent away. It's not like a dive kick in a traditional 2D Capcom game where you can dive kick in and confirm for combo. Didn't really work that way. He kind of bounced off of him and kicked him away, meaning that in order to convert this thing into actual damage, you might want to just combo directly into Super if you know it's going to hit, or go into the teleport attack that every single character has, which is back as well as medium and heavy. Teleports behind you or behind the opponent for the cost of 1 bar, and gives many opportunities for you to follow up with combos. Vegeta's straight kick special sort of does a double lock-on kick, kind of similar to what Goku does, but it doesn't have the arc. The light one is 2 kicks that kind of follows up and is a very good thing to lead into supers, but he also has the medium and heavy versions. The heavy version, of course, like all specials in this game, do use bar and it uses 1 meter, but the medium version is like a lunging kick forward that kind of like really quickly takes you from one side of the screen to the other and covers about just over half screen distance, and this thing can be good for kind of catching up to the opponent really fast. I'm not super sure how good it was on block, but I'm assuming it's not great. At the same time, it seems to be okay in some situations. Maybe you can whiff it, use it for aerial mobility, stuff like that. It does feel like Vegeta is going to be approaching with a lot of kick-style attacks, and using the medium version is probably going to be one of them, because the heavy version locks on from what appears to be like full screen and just lunges across the entire screen and kicks the opposition. You don't get any natural combo extension from this move, but if you use another bar right after, that's 2 bars, you can follow up for a teleport kick, essentially kick through them, teleport kick their body on the opposite side, and then homing attack in to follow up for a combo. And that's some pretty good stuff. I was finding myself using that a little bit more often than not when I was using Vegeta, so I would say try using those attacks a bit more and don't be too hesitant about using a bar on it because it really seems like it can interrupt the opposition. Now, the one big difference to Goku is that Vegeta essentially has an uppercut in this game. It's a rising kick uppercut that leads with the knee on the light version, but if you do the medium version, he uppercuts into the air with this thing, and if you press the button again, he kicks them back down to the ground. Sometimes the down kick might not be what you want to do. You don't get super opportunities at some points after that. So I'd say be kind of lenient with what you do in this situation. Leading up with the light one, going into super after an air combo is usually the best bet. The one that I love the most, and is probably one of my favorite moves in the entirety of Dragon Ball FighterZ, is the heavy version of his knee riser. This thing is ridiculous. Hits a bunch of times on the way up and kicks them back down to the ground. It does great damage. It looks awesome, but it does cost 1 bar. A lot of the times you'll be finding yourself using more meter than not in Dragon Ball FighterZ because you build meter incredibly quick in this game. So using these heavy special follow-ups, even though they cost 1 bar, is sometimes worth it, especially if it looks this cool. Now, talking about supers, one of the biggest reasons why Goku and Vegeta are characters where it just feels like everything works with these guys is because a lot of the stuff they do on the ground applies to the air, and that is the same for their super attacks. Vegeta's basic level 1 super, which is this giant Ki Blast fireball that goes across the screen really quick, can be executed on the ground or in the air. So following up for combos in any situation where you just want to tack on a little bit more damage, this is the super you do, and it's pretty good as a result. But you can even upgrade that for an extra couple of bars by doing his level 3, which is a giant Kamehameha full screen blast. This thing, once again, works on the ground and in the air, and following up from anything like a knee riser or his Tatsu sort of kick that hits a couple of times, doing Vegeta's level 1 or level 3 after any of it is possibly one of the easiest things to execute in Dragon Ball FighterZ for pretty good damage. So use it if you got the meter and you want to tack on a bit more damage to your combos. That's about it for Vegeta. Not a ton to him in terms of crazy gameplay mechanics or style. Him and Goku are absolutely the 2 simplest characters to use amongst the roster right now, but the rest that we're going to be talking about are fairly unique in terms of what Gohan can do, as well as Frieza, Cell, and Buu. It gets pretty crazy with the bad guys especially, so I'm going to be making breakdowns of all of those characters. Stay tuned, guys, if you want to check that out. I appreciate your subscription. I'll be back with more updates as soon as possible, and if you want to like the video, I also appreciate it too. Here's Vegeta doing some combos that I figured out with the brief period of time that I had, and I'll see you dudes next time.
Wonderful! 俺はスーパーベジータだ。Vegeta!